Was a much darker, serious, even threatening record. A lot of the fun and mayhem and surreal silliness that was with Marilyn Manson, even up to the point of Sweet Dreams coming out or Smells Like Children coming out, was pretty much gone. Was pretty much swallowed up by the more threatening, darker thing that came from Antichrist Superstar. And that was like the biggest, most significant change in the band and the band's appeal, because it was, you know, once you get darker and louder and scarier, you can't say, oh, I was just kidding.
Antichrist Superstar is an industrial metal album. It's a multi-layered epic. It's very dark. There's very little light in there. And the light that there is has a sort of almost like a suspicious Nietzschean, even quasi-fascist tone to it. It's a clever piece of work. And a work of art will never be subjected successfully to dissection. You know, once you cut the damn thing apart, it never quite walks again. But there is something that's going, sort of the powerful, if you like, heart of it, at least to my mind, to my ears, is it's very much about crisis, about collapse, about crossing the abyss. And crossing the abyss is a concept that you can find in so many different areas. I mean, specifically here, a primary figure is Aleister Crowley, the Black Magician. And he subscribed to a theory which is common in a lot of different spiritual schools and so forth, that in order to cross to the other side, in order to become a sanctified, or in Crowley's case, perhaps possessed, you have to put yourself through some kind of ordeal.
When we initially started recording Antichrist, it was, what was it, I think February or March of '96, and there wasn't a real clear-cut plan for the production of the album as far as the art of it, as far as the music. It was just like we had a bunch of ideas up in the air, and different people would make decisions at different times for different reasons. And it was kind of messy, and it was socially messy too. So, you know, tensions rose and people alienated each other, and it got pretty bad. I don't know how to finish this.
During the recording of Antichrist Superstar, Scott Patetsky, one of the founding members, quit Marilyn Manson.
Pretty much the reason, or reasons, I left the band was because there was a lot of favoritism going on, and a lot of my ideas were being neglected, and I just got really frustrated. And Brian definitely seemed to have forgotten about my my value, you know, the importance of me being not only the main music writer, but like his co-founder, his original partner. He just totally forgot about it, and I knew it couldn't get better if it had reached that point in his mind. I knew that things couldn't be better for me. He saw me as maybe not even as expendable, but less important than other people, and I wasn't going to stick around for that, because I had a lot of great ideas, and you know, if he wasn't going to help me develop them, I was going to do them on my own. So that's what I did. I came back to Florida and I formed my band 3 Ton Gate, and that's that.
When the album came out, it was a huge success, reaching #3 on the Billboard charts. As their popularity grew, civic groups increasingly picketed Manson concerts. The band even became a key topic of a Senate panel set up to discuss the effects of modern music. In 1998, Marilyn Manson's autobiography, The Long Hard Road Out of Hell, appeared on the shelves.
While it's not necessarily immediately obvious, there is a story being told in Antichrist Superstar. It's one of those sort of perennially unfashionable things. It's a concept album. And the story essentially is this character Worm Boy, you know, this absolute sort of impotent, you know, vulnerable creature, which then sort of enters a cocoon and goes through this appalling stuff and then emerges as this kind of big destroying angel, this kind of satanic archetype. And that's the story. And it's paralleled very much in his autobiography, The Long Hard Road Out of Hell, because that's very much about him starting as this very nerdy kid. He spares himself no blushes when he describes himself and almost seems to sort of enter into this masochistic self-loathing. By the end, you have him as being this superstar, the Antichrist superstar. You know, on the cover of Rolling Stone, he's become this huge figure. But in the process, he's gone through this crisis. He describes all the things that go wrong, the traumas which affect his life. And he comes out the other end of it as something which has lost a lot of its humanity, has lost a lot of its feelings. It's come comparatively early in the career. It's something which I suspect was influential in propelling him to the sort of heights he reached in the late 90s. And it's sort of a statement of intent. It's a witty book. You know, it's quite funny. It's also an incredibly poisonous book. There's some very cruel things indeed said about a lot of people. Perhaps its saving grace is that the one who gets the worst roasting, the guy who gets stabbed in the back the most times, is the author himself.
By now, Marilyn Manson had established themselves as a worldwide phenomenon, and the band went back into the studio with new guitarist Zim Zum to record a very different type of Manson record.
Musically, Antichrist Superstar was a very angry album. It's a lot of spikes. You know, it's to coin the phrase, I mean, it's in your face. It's all these things. It's, you know, it's rage. It's despair. It's, you know, a very adrenaline-charged piece of work. And then suddenly, it's almost like a U-turn, because the centre of Mechanical Animals musically it's quite soft-sounding. You know, if you don't listen to